Raging angels come to earth, and the exorcism master thunder strikes. The Pope's Exorcist, the best exorcism drama of 2023, high energy and thrilling throughout. In the late night, Father Gabriel Amorth entered a home with a box. His face was serious, but when he saw little Rosalia still doing her homework at home, Father Gabriel Amos went up and comforted her. After some comfort, Rosalia's mother took her away. It turns out that the male owner of the house was possessed by a demon. Father Gabriel Amorth's mission on this trip was to exorcise the man's demons. Came to the bed. The man's limbs were bound and his face was hideous. Demon ignoring Father Gabriel Amos' question. Father Gabriel Amos directly took out the token. Under the shock of the holy light, the demon appeared to show signs of cowardice. Through verbal baiting, Father Gabriel Amorth infinitely magnifies the demon's weaknesses. The demon began to struggle with fear, and Father Gabriel Amos grabbed the demon at his weakest point and drove her into the bore. The next moment, the man regained his senses, indicating that Father Gabriel Amorth's exorcism was successful. But not all cases are related to demons, as 98% of people don't use exorcisms. Most of them have mental problems and some are even psychologically disturbed. Only 2% are uncertain because Father Gabriel Amorth, who performed the exorcism without Vatican permission, was questioned by the Church. Father Gabriel Amorth tries to communicate with data. However, some people have taken it personally, arguing that exorcism was unwarranted. Father Gabriel Amorth quickly replied that if there were no demons, what would be the purpose of their existence? To put it simply, Father Gabriel Amorth's exorcism skills are excellent, but some people want to disqualify him from being the chief exorcist. For this reason, they even criticized the suicide of Rosaria. Father Gabriel Amorth responded that his position was appointed by the Pope and if there were any complaints against him, he could speak directly to the Pope. Now comes Julia and her children. Julia took her 2 children to Spain because she was in dire financial straits. Her late husband left a church here, and with a few repairs and a sale, Julia could have made a substantial amount of money. However, over a year later, the church is in a state of disrepair. Father Escobel briefly described the state of the church. Little did she know that her oldest daughter, Amy, would become a real pain in the neck. The older one could not be controlled, but the younger one was also naughty, and even wore a mask to scare her sister. With nothing else to do, Henry wandered around his new home. When he came to a corridor, he heard strange whispering and looked for the source, but the wall cracks couldn't see half a person. Then, strange things happened one after the other. On the first night of moving in, Julia heard a strange knocking sound and went to the stairs to investigate, but she didn't find anything. Just then, there was a movement from Henry's room. Julia didn't disturb her son as he was sleeping, but after Julia left, Henry suddenly opened his eyes. The next day, the maintenance workers discovered a hole in the wall and what was inside made them curious. Unbeknownst to them, an unexpected fire erupted and they were rushed to rescue the injured workers. At that moment, the sound of Amy's alarm echoed from the house. Julia rushed back to the house to investigate. I never thought it, but my son said that you will all die. Henry hasn't spoken in a year since his father's passing. After the situation, Julia took the child to the hospital first, and after a series of tests, the child's body was normal. The doctor gave a reasonable explanation that the child was mentally ill and prescribed some sedative drugs, then quickly sent the mother and son away. After the son returned home, Henry's condition worsened. When the power went out, Julia was worried that her son would be scared, so she hugged the child to comfort him. After Amy turned on the electric switch, Henry suddenly started playing around. The frightened mother quickly fled. At that moment, the child lifted his shirt and saw a word of hate carved on his stomach, so he shouted to bring the priest. Then, Father Escobel arrived on the scene, not expecting to fly out the next second. Soon, word of the boy's demonic possession reached the church. Given the rapid progress of Henry's possession, the Pope took it very seriously and sent Father Gabriel Amorth to investigate. The crime occurred at the Spanish monastery of San Sebastian, a place that had previously posed a problem for the church. The Pope sensed a great evil coming from there and wanted Father Gabriel Amorth to be well prepared. Without delay, Father Gabriel Amorth got on his beloved scooter and headed to Spain. When he arrived at the entrance of the church, Father Gabriel Amorth felt the oppressive aura of resentment. Just as he was wiping the holy water to protect himself, Father Escobel came out quickly to meet him. As the Vatican's chief exorcist, Father Escobel is a longtime admirer, and he excitedly introduced Father Gabriel Amorth to Julia's family. Julia was astounded by the church's concern and seriousness of the situation. With the family's permission, Father Gabriel Amorth visited upstairs. The demon ignored the arrival of Father Gabriel Amos, and as he sat down to recite the prayer, the demon awoke from the boy's body, and Gabriel Amos immediately took out the token. Under the gaze of the other side, the demonic pupil appeared. Father Gabriel Amorth was astounded. It's clear that the demon is extraordinary, and he questioned the reason for the possession. The demon stated that it enjoyed destroying the innocent body, but preferred to challenge the exorcist's soul. The demon's true goal was not the boy, but the priest in front of him. When it comes to God, The demon is dismissive, but Father Gabriel Amorth knew that the demon was afraid. The demon dropped the cross and tried to shatter the faith in Father Gabriel Amorth's heart. He also stated that he was a demon that Father Gabriel Amorth could handle. Father Gabriel Amorth wanted to know who the demon was, but the demon wasn't stupid and wouldn't take Father Gabriel Amorth as bait. He was foolish enough to fall for Father Gabriel Amorth's tricks and kept his name to himself. However, the demon knew Father Gabriel Amorth's name and the nightmare in his mind. Father Gabriel Amorth fought in World War II, but when he was surrounded by the enemy, the coward chose to play dead to avoid being shot. The demon immediately spat out a small bird. But what did this bird mean to Father Gabriel Amorth? Father Gabriel Amorth left the room in fear and suspected that Father Escobel had revealed his name, making it even more difficult for him, knowing that the higher the demon's rank, the more pipes it can penetrate. Father Gabriel Amorth's heart was uneasy, and if the demon possessed him, the consequences would be more severe than he could imagine. Father Gabriel Amorth explained to Julia that in order to save the child from the demon, he could only rely on faith at this point. Father Gabriel Amorth then asked about Henry's situation. Julia mentioned her husband's car accident and Henry was a witness at the time. It is clear that this trauma became a pathway for demonic possession. Father Gabriel Amorth encouraged Julia to reach out to the child through her motherly love, which would greatly aid in his exorcism. At that moment, there was a sudden knock on the door of my sister's room. Out of concern for her brother's safety, she entered the room to check. The demon suddenly opened its fishy red eyes and told them that they were now in hell. Panic-stricken, Amy rushed back to her room and, strangely, received a phone call from her late father. She is frightened and tells her mother about it. Julia asks the priest for help, but Father Gabriel Amorth says that demons are stronger at night and that mother and daughter should sleep well to avoid them. Faced with this situation, Father Escobel humbly sought advice on how to handle it. Father Gabriel Amorth stated that the only way to exorcise the demon was to know its name. The only option they have now is to keep praying, as it will make the demon feel pain. But as priests, they had to confess their sins and only with God's forgiveness would they not let the demon take advantage of them. After brief business training for Father Escobel, Father Gabriel Amorth then led him into battle. While the demon kept taunting the new Father Escobel, Father Gabriel Amorth despised him for having the wrong man. After removing the Bible, the two men began to pray fervently. As the painful demon began to roar hideously, Father Escobel was momentarily distracted, and Father Gabriel Amorth rushed to pull him back. The room suddenly became dark, and the demon brought Father Gabriel Amorth into a vision and transformed him into the dead Rosaria. He tried to make Father Gabriel Amorth feel guilty, but he was determined and did not waver. But Father Escobel is not so great. The demon verbally mocked his girlfriend, which made Father Escobel angry. Directly on the hand. But this is also a big taboo. The exorcism process must not involve contact with the demon, so it was forced to stop. But the mention of Rosalia in the demon's mouth evoked sad memories for Father Gabriel Amos. Rosaria was supposed to be the one in need of help, but Father Gabriel Amorth gave up on her exorcism under the demon's hood. This makes Father Gabriel Amorth feel guilty, and the demon uses this to distract him. Now they needed to find out the demon's name as soon as possible so that Henry could have a chance of being rescued. As they spoke, Father Gabriel Amorth remembered what the demon had said. It appears that you have been misled, Father Gabriel Amorth. Things are not as simple as you think. There seems to be something else about this church. As anticipated, Father Gabriel Amorth found a dry well outside, with the Vatican seal on the lid. Father Gabriel Amorth felt that something was amiss and pulled the lid off the well. Suddenly, something strange occurred. Amy was shivering under the covers when a sudden wave of spiritual energy pulled her away. The next moment, there was a loud knock on the door. Panicked Amy hid in the closet, but the banging kept coming from there. At the same time, Julia, who was sleeping, was grabbed by two hands. Awakened, she tried to resist, but the demon covered her mouth with a deadly grip. Father Escobel also had a nightmare. Lured by the demon, he sneaked to the bedside and tried to calm the child. But suddenly, the demon attacked and Father Escobel was bitten. At that moment, Father Gabriel Amorth opened the dry well and lit a cloth to illuminate the situation below. Suddenly, an explosion ignites a fire. Back inside, Father Gabriel Amorth heard Julia's screams. Just as she was about to sink into the bed, Father Gabriel Amorth pulled her out just in time. At the same time, they heard Amy's cries for help and the priest arrived to exorcise the demon, which had been driven away by the scriptures. For the safety of both mother and daughter, Father Gabriel Amorth took them to the church. After everything was settled, Father Gabriel Amorth took Father Escobel on a tour of what he discovered was once the Inquisition, where some unwilling converts were persecuted. To find out what was going on down there, Father Gabriel Amorth discovered secret passages in the church to find out what was happening down there. After breaking down the stone wall, the two men found the previous hole in the pit and made their way to the bottom of the well. Little did they know that this was a burial mound. The man in the middle was wearing the Archbishop's ring of protection, so the cage was not meant to detain him. On the other hand, it was to protect him. The goal was to prevent the demon from escaping after the exorcism failed. But what was it that captured them? To uncover the secret of this place, Father Gabriel Amorth asked Father Escobel to open the iron door. However, they did not know that the door led to hell, and the resourceful Father Gabriel Amos thought of the key. After searching around the Guardian, Father Gabriel Amorth found the key. After opening the iron door, they searched deeper into the secret passage. In front of a decaying skeleton, Father Gabriel Amorth recognized it as Friar Diahada, one of the greatest exorcists of all time. In his hand was his diary, which documented a possessed monk. During the interrogation, the demon answered from the mouth of another man, visible as a powerful demon possessed. Unfortunately, the exorcist was possessed instead. The exorcist's identity led to the demon's promotion of the Inquisition's persecution. The Church has concealed this truth, keeping the Vatican in the dark. Now it seems that the Restoration Project has unleashed the demons here. Horrendously, 200 berserk angels were buried on the earth. The demons attempted to gather here to destroy the Church. Just then, Julia discovered her daughter's disappearance. When she searched for her son's room, she did not expect to find that the demon had taken control of both of them. The mother realized something was wrong and took Amy away. The next moment, the mother and daughter were locked in a chokehold by the demon and were about to be strangled to death. At the critical moment, Father Gabriel Amorth made a new discovery. The diary recorded the name of the demon, the King of Hell, Asmundus. After his identity was revealed, the demon became vulnerable. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Amy quickly injected a sedative into Henry's body, temporarily bringing the demon under control. Father Escobel also understood the demon's intentions. The demon lured Father Gabriel Amorth here in order to take possession of the exorcist and then commit the crime under the guise of his identity. After realizing the demon's trick, Father Gabriel Amorth had his next plan as well. They already know the demon's name, and if they exploit this weakness, they can defeat the demon. Conversely, the demon can also exploit their weaknesses to strengthen themselves. The two men confessed to the Lord once again. Father Gabriel Amorth spoke about the battle in which he was the only survivor. With a heavy burden, Father Gabriel Amorth performed an exorcism on Rosaria, but unable to face her, he passed the exorcism on to another priest, which directly led to Rosaria's death. After the priest confessed this and received the Lord's forgiveness, Father Gabriel Amorth decided to exorcise the demon again. When he came to the demon's bed, the demon confessed his purpose. He would spare the child if Father Gabriel Amorth would give up his life. As the two prayed, the demon continued to create illusions, but this did not distract them. After an intense output, the demon suddenly stopped and Henry woke up to ask his mother for help. Interestingly, the demon gave a hint right after that. The demon has taken control of Amy's body, causing her twisted body to rise to the roof. While everyone was distracted, the demon sent another sneak attack with Henry's body. Mother held by daughter in death grip, choked Escobel dying. To save them, Father Gabriel Amorth let go of his obsession and told the demon to come at him. In an instant, the demon possessed Father Gabriel Amorth. The family was saved, but Father Gabriel Amorth became a martyr. After driving everyone away, a resilient Father Gabriel Amorth tried to fight back, to prevent the demon's trickery. Father Gabriel Amos wanted to end his life by committing suicide, but how could the demon let him get away with it? With the demon at his disposal, Father Gabriel Amos arrives in the catacombs. At the call of the demon, the berserk angel came to earth. By the time Father Escobel arrived, Father Gabriel Amorth's will was completely gone. Father Escobel, unwilling to compromise, continued to pray to the demon and tried to awaken Father Gabriel Amorth, who was unconscious. The next moment, the demon was suspended in the air. Father Escobel issued the final sanction, and as the name was pronounced, the demon was immediately shaken away. Father Gabriel Amorth regained his body, but Father Escobel stepped forward and was knocked off his feet. To weaken their willpower, the demons manifested their nightmares separately. Just when the two were unable to move, Father Escobel sanctioned the demon with the holy relic in his hand. He quickly threw the cross to Father Gabriel Amorth, who eventually defeated the demon back to hell in the name of the Holy Father. The two men defeated the demon with their strong faith. But it didn't end there. The diaries of the monks of Deohada contain 200 places where the knot was sealed. With the exception of the one they sealed, there are still 199 people in the world waiting for them to deal with. The film stars Russell Crowe. Although the story is the same old exorcism, Russell Crowe's acting skills in the present film added a lot of points. The story is based on a true story, adding a layer of mystery to it. This is the content of this issue. Thank you for reading. We'll see you next time.